Hey everybody, today we're looking into the origin of the phrase, it's raining cats and dogs. I say that on a very sunny day, which really kind of defeats the purpose. It was raining this morning. Now, as many of the phrases that I've researched, its origin is uncertain, and there are several theories about its history. And I'm going to lay out to you what I found out, and you can pick the one that you think fits best. How about that? It's a pick your own day. Okay, first up, one theory suggests that the expression has roots in the Norse mythology. It's said that Odin, the god of storms, was often depicted with dogs and wolves, which were symbolized as wind. I don't know how or why that is, but that's just the way it was. And witches, who supposedly rode their brooms during the storms, were often pictured with black cats. I get that one. Therefore, raining cats and dogs may refer to a storm with wind, dogs, and heavy rain, cats. Interesting. I don't know, but that's the way they thought. Now, if you watched a post I did on the phrase sick as a dog, and how in medieval times dogs and cats were not domesticated and beloved as they are nowadays, this next one would kind of gross you out, but it is what it is. Back in the 17th century Britain, it was said that when rain really came down hard, it would wash out the streets. Drainage ditches and other hiding places would all be washed out into the center of the street and washed away. And in doing so, it would bring out the dead carcasses of animals like dogs and cats. Thus, it would be raining cats and dogs. Lovely. And then another theory that the phrase is more literal in origin. Again, in the 17th century, when houses had thatched roofs, animals like cats and dogs would sometimes be found sheltering and hanging out or in the thatched roofs. During heavy rain, the thatch would become slippery, causing the animals to slip and fall off, giving the impression that it was actually literally raining cats and dogs. As a contractor, I more believe the idea that they were just hanging out on the roof, because what I know of thatch roofs is that they were made to be very tight and waterproof. There were no big cavities that larger animals like cats or dogs would be able to live in. Once it started raining, they hightailed it out of there, and they were probably jumping off the roof in search of cover, which in turn would, in theory, look like it was raining cats and dogs. I think that's really a good one, so I'm going to go with that theory. There were other iterations of the phrase, but the first time it clocked in as the phrase that we know it as now was in 1738. It was by a gentleman named Jonathan Swift, who published a book called Complete Collections of Genteel and Ingenious Conversation. And now I'm going to cut him some slack on the title of the book, because it was a book of satire, shining a light on how the upper classes spoke to one another. In it, one of the characters fears that it will rain cats and dogs. Now, whether Swift had finally coined the phrase or he was just using it as a cliche, his use of the phrase was most likely the beginning of its popularity, so we do have to give him that. Now, regardless of the precise origin, the phrase has endured and is still used today as a colorful way to describe exceptionally heavy rain. So there it is. I hope you enjoyed today's little bit of history, and if you do, make sure you subscribe, and I'll have more down the road. All right, take care, everybody.